How to show a people in their ultimate quest. How to portray the spirit of a place as reflected in its churches and their music. How to tell a story of Nova Scotia through the beauty of words and songs of worship, of the talents of many. In Halifax in 1749, a church was as important as a fortress. So the founders built St. Paul's, Canada's first garrison church. The few German settlers built the first Lutheran church in Canada. St. Matthew's United, also in Halifax, for a long time was the church of the dissenters, who were nonconformists with a rigid Puritan background. Among them were Congregationalists and Presbyterians, who forgot their differences and worshiped together. To please the Presbyterians, a minister was called from Scotland. To please the Congregationalists, at the evening service, they sang the hymns of Isaac Watt. Not always were organs used in worship. Puritans thought them sinful, but gradually instruments came into use. Here, and in their earlier church, the dissenters used this cello, treasured today as the kirk fiddle. The oldest nonconformist church building in Canada was the labor of Congregationalists in Barrington. Dissenters of all denominations worshipped in this meeting house and sang hymns of praise introduced by the Methodists. The Covenanters at Grand Pré were an austere branch of the Presbyterian Church of Scotland. They believed because God is a spirit, he should be worshipped only in spirit. No hymns were sung, no instruments played, no ornamentation allowed in the house of the Lord. Most Presbyterian services in those early years were in Gaelic. The presenter sang one line of a metrical psalm. The congregation repeated it after him. On Cape Breton Island, an occasional service is still held in Gaelic. Few of the congregation are familiar with the old tongue, so the singing is led by a presenter and choir. Over the years, pitch pipes and tuning forks were allowed. Later, choirs were introduced. Still later, organs were accepted by the Presbyterians. Choirs were always part of the liturgy of the Roman Catholic Church. The polished granite spire of the Basilica in Halifax is one of the tallest in the world. And St. Mary's at Church Point is said to be the largest church built entirely of wood in North America. Designed by an architect in Rennes, France, the church was built by a parishioner. His craftsmanship is the more remarkable in that he could barely write his name. Though creeds and symbols have differed since the baptism of Jesus by John, the universal search for truth continues. Though many of the early churches were built of hand-hewn timber, they have a singular beauty. The round design of St. George's Anglican Church in Halifax, built in 1800, was startling and ahead of its time. Some believed that churches were built round so the devil could not corner them. But they were designed that way because the circle is the symbol of eternity. Many churches today are built in the round because this form tends to involve everyone in worship. Forms change. Thought varies. Our orison, voices and music invoking the Supreme, is everlasting. The quest will be always. As it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be.